This video is brought to you by this shirt depicting me on the Iron Throne with my T-Rex behind me. It's fucking hilarious. I put links to the t-shirt site in the video description and the comment section. Any shirt you buy supports the channel and helps me do more stuff to bring to you. You guys had a ton of awesome questions on my trailer breakdown video, so I wanted to make a video answering some of those. Okay, starting with the Sniper Major, who asked, what about all the white on the left of the map at 4:45? It could be just an unfinished portion, but what if the sea is frozen that far to the south? Personally, I think it's just an unfinished portion of the map. If you look, you can see they haven't finished spelling out the Sunset Sea yet. Now, does that mean you're wrong? No. Far enough north and it is frozen. There's ice in the water up by the frozen shore anyways. Now, if I understand what you're getting at, yeah, I do think it would be cool if they were actually painting over the image and showing that the Sunset Sea was slowly becoming more and more ice and that the ice was creeping down further south as the others got closer. But I do think that it's just they hadn't finished painting it yet. Grey God said, someone from Smokescreen's channel noted that Jaime is standing near the fingers around the neck and all. I thought it was pretty clever. So yeah, I pointed out on my trailer review that Cersei was standing on the neck, and I thought that was a clever little hint about the prophecy, and then I also noted that Jaime was the only one in the room with her, meaning he was going to be the one to choke her out. But I did not see that he was standing near the fingers, and I didn't correlate that to Cersei on the neck as fingers wrapping around her neck. That is actually super clever, and I don't know if you're up to date, any of you, on the interviews Jaime's actor's been doing lately, but he's actually been talking a lot about the prophecy and whether he's going to be the one to kill Cersei, and he's being really coy about it, so my suspicions are on the rise. Even if they're not going with the prophecy and Jaime being the one that fulfills it, I do think D&D are the type to kind of troll us a little bit, because if you know anything about them, they love to fuck with people. It's just, I feel like they're #1 activity. But all in all, yeah, I think seeing Jaime choke out Cersei would be very satisfying. Speaking of the prophecy, O'Keefe said, but they left out the Valonqar out of the show. Maggie only mentions the gold crowns and shrouds. So I personally actually think this is being done on purpose to have a later reveal and kind of shock the non-book readers and also help them understand a little bit more why she hates Tyrion so much. If I was writing a drama series, I would definitely leave that reveal or the last part of the prophecy until it became more pertinent to the story, especially in a season that her and Tyrion are probably going to come face to face again. Mr. Culliver wrote, Tyrion is not a Targaryen. Sheesh. Why won't that stupid theory die? Man, if that is a theory that gets you worked up and you think is just absolutely stupid, you are so lucky, sir. There's a lot of shit out there. A lot of scary shit. Some people really like the idea of Tyrion being a Targaryen and one of the 3 heads of the dragon. There's some evidence for Tyrion being a Targaryen, and I went over that in a separate video actually, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but I'm not exactly married to the idea, but I still wouldn't call it stupid, maybe unlikely, but there's a lot of thought put into it by others, and it is a pretty decent theory. I personally wouldn't rank it with the theories I've read that I think are actually stupid. Moving on, Nazia wrote, 7 episodes and they waste time on Illyria's love life? Yeah, I know, I'm still not happy with the Sand Snakes, but honestly, I think what they're trying to do is make us like her a little bit more or be a little bit more involved with her because they're going to kill Illyria and Yara this season. At the very least, I think Illyria is going to die, so they're trying to be like, oh, look at this kind of fun relationship her and Yara have, and oh, how dramatic. Then one or both of them die because they know how we feel about the Sand Snakes and they know how we feel about Illyria right now. Or it could just all be for the smut. I'm all for the smut. Abe's Place said, what if the hand sticking out with what looks like grayscale is the Shame Lady being tortured by the mountain? That would be amazing. If that's true, and I'm completely on board for this, I would love for her to be reaching out her arm to Jaime, who found her, and Jaime figures out what Cersei has done and is realizing more and more that she's actually Ares 2.0. That would just be swell. Adam McKenzie asks, House Rosby, Duskendale, why are you even suggesting this? The show has forgotten that the Crown Lands and the Stormlands even exist. they will be ignored.
Yeah, I completely see where you're coming from, but I think they could easily pretend like they weren't ignoring the Stormlands and the Crownlands and catch us up on what was going on in those areas in like 60 seconds of dialogue. Honestly, they could catch us up fairly quickly. I have hope, giving the close-up of Rosby and Duskendale, that we will see her landing and attacking those areas first, or at least attacking those areas with a part of her army, because I think that would be one of many good initial strike points.
Philip wrote, Littlefinger saying to whomever that they are the last best hope is to either Arya or Bran, not Sansa.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that is Littlefinger saying that to Sansa. I think that's an editing trick to make us think that there's more manipulation going on between Littlefinger and Sansa, but he's actually talking to someone else. Bran is actually a really likely candidate for that, especially if Bran comes back to Winterfell and tells his sister or sisters everything that happened and, oh hey, I need to talk to Jon. Littlefinger hears this, or maybe Sansa tells Littlefinger, and then he starts to think, how can I use Bran to my advantage? I have this kid with basically magic powers. Which I think could actually lead to Littlefinger's death this season. If he starts to mess with Bran, Bran's pretty powerful at this point, and Bran could see the fuckery that's going on.
Julian asks, the image of Littlefinger in the shadow kinda looks like it's taken in the crypts. Maybe he is spying on Jon in the crypts, and that's when Jon grabs him in the other shot?
Very possible. It does look like he's spying in the crypts with that shot, and as we know, Littlefinger is always twirling his mustache, even when he's sleeping.
Joseph asks, what dragon do I think Tyrion would ride? That is like the best question ever. I'm so excited that you asked that.
Okay, if you will allow me to tinfoil for one moment, I definitely think Tyrion would get Viserion, and Jon would get the dragon named after his bio dad. That would just be too perfect, almost too perfect for Game of Thrones.
Anderson HBK asks, I've been compiling some evidence on this, but after seeing Jon choke out Littlefinger, it's becoming a bit more believable. Could Jon Snow become the Mad King 2.0? Plot twist.
I don't think Jon choking out Littlefinger is him becoming the Mad King 2.0. I think there's some legitimate reasons why he could be choking out Littlefinger. I say that, but please, don't go around choking people. It's just, it's not polite. He could be pissed that Littlefinger led Sansa to Ramsay, and then his little sister has all this trauma. He could be pissed off that he heard rumors that Littlefinger supposedly betrayed his father, and he's confronting him about that. He could be pissed that Littlefinger is trying to manipulate him. There's a lot of reasons why he could be choking out Baelish. I do definitely think we're going to see some of his Targaryen temper this season.
We saw it last season when he wailed on Ramsay, but again, he had a lot of emotions he was coming off of. Being betrayed and dead, coming back to life, meeting the man in a family that betrayed and helped lead to the death of his family members, meeting the man that tortured his sister. Jon has a lot of issues right now. Good thing he'll be fighting a lot and getting that anger out. Hopefully. Next I was asked, Yara might be getting a kiss of poison?
I wouldn't imagine so. I don't think that really makes sense or benefits Ellaria in any way. We know that Yara and Ellaria are both very open to sex. They're open to going to brothels and sleeping with whores. So I think they just enjoy sex, and they're on a ship, they're going to war, so they're just having a little bit of fun time together.
Bathtub asks, will we ever see Essos again in the series?
We may in the last 2 seasons see Essos again, but I think if we do, it's only going to be a little bit, maybe some glimpses, and not anything that's super expanded on.
John wrote, my question, does the Lion Queen realize that her little brother not only outlived her contract on his life, he prospered after all? Hand to the Queen, ain't too shabby, keep up the good work.
I don't think she realizes it quite yet, but I think she will this season, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm kind of hoping that's why she's sneering on the Iron Throne.
The Mediocre Maester wrote, could the sexy Ungregor actually be Victarion? Or Euron, because it's the show. The armor looks way too Kraken-y, and we also see a smoldering hand in the trailer too.
Honestly, I do think it's Ungregor. I think all the evidence we have points to that. I think that makes the most sense. I feel like we've been outright told that's who it is. I don't think we're going to be seeing Victarion in the series, unfortunately, at least for the show. Obviously, he's in the books. I mean, we barely got damp hair, and he definitely wasn't the damp hair in the books.
Peter asks, what is Teehee sex? Or however written.
That is exactly how it's spelled. Teehee sex is basically just sex that serves no purpose towards the plot or plot progression, and is just there to fill a sex quota.
And I will end this video with a question that Elizabeth asked me. How do you think Jaime will react when he finds out that Jon is the son of Rhaegar? Do you think his guilt about not saving the rest of Rhaegar's children make him join Jon's side?
But what do you think about Elizabeth's question? Let me know in the comment section down below. So thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe, and come back for more Game of Thrones and other sci-fi fantasy topics.